Chapter 1, Cover Sonnets from the Portuguese, by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This e-book is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this e-book. Title: Sonnets from the Portuguese author, Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Release date: December 1, 1999. E-book #2002. Most recently updated January 13, 2015. Language: English. Other information and formats: www.gutenberg.org/ebooks/2002. Credits: transcribed from the 1906 Caradoc Press edition by David Price. Transcribed from the 1906 Caradoc Press edition by David Price. Email ccx074@pglaf. Yet I feel that I shall stand. Romans 7. The face of all the world is changed. I think. Roman 8. What can I give thee back? O liberal. Roman 9. Can it be right to give what I can give? Yet love, mere love, is beautiful indeed. Roman 11. And therefore if to love can be desert. Roman 12. Indeed this very love which is my boast. Roman 13. And wilt thou have me fashion into speech? Roman 14. If thou must love me, let it be for naught. Roman 15. Accuse me not, beseech thee, that I wear. Roman 16. And yet, because thou overcomest so. Roman 17. My poet, thou canst touch on all the notes. Roman 18. I never gave a lock of hair away. Roman 19. The soul's rialto hath its merchandise. Roman 20. Beloved, my beloved, when I think. Roman 21. Say over again, and yet once over again. Roman 22. When our two souls stand up erect and strong. Roman 23. Is it indeed so? If I lay here dead. Roman 24. Let the world's sharpness like a clasping knife. Roman 25. A heavy heart, beloved, have I borne. Roman 26. I lived with visions for my company. Roman 27. My own beloved, who haste lifted me. Roman 28. My letters, all dead paper, mute and white. Roman 29. I think of thee, my thoughts do twine and bud. XXX. I see thine image through my tears tonight. Roman 31. Thou comest. All is said without a word. Roman 32. The first time that the sun rose on thine oath. Roman 33. Yes, call me by my pet name. Let me hear. Roman 34. With the same heart I said, I'll answer thee. Roman 35. If I leave all for thee, wilt thou exchange? Roman 36. When we met first and loved, I did not build. Roman 37. Pardon, oh pardon, that my soul should make. Roman 38. First time he kissed me, he but only kissed. Roman 39. Because thou hast the power and own'st the grace. XL. Oh, yes, they love through all this world of ours. Roman 41. I thank all who have loved me in their hearts. Roman 42. My future will not copy fair my past. Roman 43. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. Roman 44. Beloved, thou hast brought me many flowers. I thought once how Theocritus had sung of the sweet years, the dear and wished-for years, who each one in a gracious hand appears to bear a gift for mortals, old or young. And as I mused it, in his antique tongue, I saw in gradual vision through my tears the sweet, sad years, the melancholy years, those of my own life who by turns had flung. Sonnets from the Portuguese by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. The Caradoc Press, Bedford Park, Chiswick, London. MDCCCCVI. Index of first lines. I thought once how Theocritus had sung. Roman 2. But only 3 in all God's universe. Roman 3. Unlike are we, unlike, O princely heart. Roman 4. Thou hast thy calling to some palace floor. V. I lift my heavy heart up solemnly, vi go from me, a shadow across me. Straightway I was ware, so weeping, how a mystic shape did move behind me and drew me backward by the hair, and a voice said in mastery while I strove, Guess now who holds thee. Death, I said, but there the silver answer rang, not death but love. Roman 2, but only 3 in all God's universe have heard this word thou hast said, himself beside thee speaking and me listening, and replied one of us, that was God, and laid the curse so darkly on my eyelids as to amerce my sight from seeing thee, that if I had died the death weights placed there would have signified less absolute exclusion. Nay, is worse from God than from all others, O my friend. Men could not part us with their worldly jars, nor the seas change us, nor the tempests bend. Our hands would touch for all the mountain bars, and heaven being rolled between us at the end, we should but vow the faster for the stars. Roman 3, unlike are we, unlike, O princely heart, unlike our uses and our destinies. Our ministering 2 angels look surprise on one another as they strike athwart their wings in passing. Thou, bethink thee, art a guest for queens to social pageantries, with gauges from 100 brighter eyes than tears even can make mine, to play thy part of chief musician. What haste thou to do with looking from the lattice lights at me, a poor, tired, wandering singer, singing through the dark and leaning up a cypress tree? The chrism is on thine head, on mine the dew, and death must dig the level where these agree. Roman 4, thou haste thy calling to some palace floor, most gracious singer of high poems, where the dancers will break footing, from the care of watching up thy pregnant lips for more, and dost thou lift this house's latch too poor for hand of thine? And canst thou think and bear to let thy music drop here unaware in folds of golden fulness at my door? Look up and see the casement broken in, the bats and owlets builders in the roof. My cricket chirps against thy mandolin. Hush, call no echo up in further proof of desolation. There's a voice within that weeps, as thou must sing. Alone, aloof, I lift my heavy heart up solemnly, as once Electra her sepulchral urn, and looking in thine eyes, I overturn the ashes at thy feet. Behold and see what a great heap of grief lay hid in me, and how the red wild sparkles dimly burn through the ashen greyness. If thy foot in scorn could tread them out to darkness utterly, it might be well perhaps. But if instead thou wait beside me for the wind to blow the grey dust up, those laurels on thine head, O my beloved, will not shield thee so, that none of all the fires shall scorch and shred the hair beneath. Stand further off then. Go, vi go from me, yet I feel that I shall stand henceforward in thy shadow. Never more alone upon the threshold of my door of individual life, I shall command the uses of my soul, nor lift my hand serenely in the sunshine as before without the sense of that which I forbore, thy touch upon the palm. The widest land doom takes to part us, leaves thy heart in mine with pulses that beat double. What I do and what I dream include thee, as the wine must taste of its own grapes. And when I sue God for myself, he hears that name of thine and sees within my eyes the tears of 2. Romans 7, the face of all the world is changed, I think, since first I heard the footsteps of thy soul move still, oh still beside me as they stole betwixt me and the dreadful outer brink of obvious death, where I who thought to sink was caught up into love and taught the whole of life in a new rhythm. The cup of dole God gave for baptism, I am fain to drink and praise its sweetness, sweet with the Anar. The names of country, heaven, are changed away for where thou art or shalt be there or here, and this lute and song, loved yesterday, the singing angels know, are only dear because thy name moves right in what they say. Roman 8, what can I give thee back, O liberal and princely giver, who haste brought the gold and purple of thine heart, unstained, untold, and laid them on the outside of the wall for such as I to take or leave withal in unexpected largesse. Am I cold, ungrateful, that for these most manifold high gifts I render nothing back at all? Not so, not cold, but very poor instead. Ask God who knows, for frequent tears have run the colours from my life, and left so dead and pale a stuff, it were not fitly done to give the same as pillow to thy head. Go farther, let it serve to trample on. Roman 9, can it be right to give what I can give? To let thee sit beneath the fall of tears as salt as mine, and hear the sighing years re-sighing on my lips renunciative, through those infrequent smiles which fail to live for all thy adjurations. O my fears that this can scarce be right. We are not peers so to be lovers, and I own and grieve that givers of such gifts as mine are must be counted with the ungenerous. Out, alas, I will not soil thy purple with my dust, nor breathe my poison on thy Venice glass, nor give thee any love which were unjust. Beloved, I only love thee, let it pass. Yet love, mere love, is beautiful indeed and worthy of acceptation. Fire is bright, let temple burn or flax, an equal light leaps in the flame from cedar plank or weed, and love is fire, and when I say at need I love thee. Mark, I love thee, in thy sight I stand transfigured, glorified aright, with conscience of the new rays that proceed out of my face toward thine. There's nothing low in love when love the lowest, meanest creatures who love God, God accepts while loving so. And what I feel across the inferior features of what I am doth flash itself, and show how that great work of love enhances natures. Roman 11, and therefore, if to love can be desert, I am not all unworthy. Cheeks as pale as these you see, and trembling knees that fail to bear the burden of a heavy heart. This weary minstrel life that once was girt to climb Aeornus, and can scarce avail to pipe now gainst the valley nightingale a melancholy music. Why advert to these things? O beloved, it is plain I am not of thy worth nor for thy place. And yet, because I love thee, I obtain from that same love this vindicating grace to live on still in love, and yet in vain, to bless thee, yet renounce thee to thy face. Roman 12, indeed this very love which is my boast, and which when rising up from breast to brow doth crown me with a ruby large eno to draw men's eyes and prove the inner cost, this love even all my worth to the uttermost, I should not love withal, unless that thou hadst set me an example, shown me how, when first thine earnest eyes with mine were crossed, and love called love. And thus I cannot speak of love even as a good thing of my own. Thy soul hath snatched up mine all faint and weak, and placed it by thee on a golden throne. And that I love, O soul, we must be meek, is by thee only whom I love alone. Roman 13, and wilt thou have me fashion into speech the love I bear thee, finding words enough and hold the torch out, while the winds are rough between our faces to cast light on each. I drop it at thy feet. I cannot teach my hand to hold my spirit so far off from myself, me that I should bring thee proof in words, of love hid in me out of reach. Nay, let the silence of my womanhood commend my woman love to thy belief, seeing that I stand unwon however wooed, and rend the garment of my life in brief, by a most dauntless, voiceless fortitude, lest one touch of this heart convey its grief. Roman 14, if thou must love me, let it be for naught, except for love's sake only. Do not say I love her for her smile, her look, her way of speaking gently, for a trick of thought that falls in well with mine, and certes brought a sense of pleasant ease on such a day. For these things in themselves, beloved, may be changed or change for thee, and love so wrought may be unwrought so. Neither love me for thine own dear pities wiping my cheeks dry. A creature might forget to weep, who bore thy comfort long and lose thy love thereby. But love me for love's sake, that evermore thou mayst love on through love's eternity. Roman 15 Accuse me not, beseech thee, that I wear too calm and sad a face in front of thine. For we two look two ways, and cannot shine with the same sunlight on our brow and hair. On me thou lookest with no doubting care, as on a bee shut in a crystalline, since sorrow hath shut me safe in love's divine, and to spread wing and fly in the outer air were most impossible failure, if I strove to fail so. But I look on thee beholding, besides love, the end of love, hearing oblivion beyond memory, as one who sits and gazes from above over the rivers to the bitter sea. Romans 16 And yet, because thou overcomest so, because thou art more noble and like a king, thou canst prevail against my fears and fling thy purple round me, till my heart shall grow too close against thine heart henceforth to know how it shook when alone. Why, conquering may prove as lordly and complete a thing in lifting upward as in crushing low. And as a vanquished soldier yields his sword to one who lifts him from the bloody earth, even so, beloved, I at last record, here ends my strife. If thou invite me forth, I rise above abasement at the word. Make thy love larger to enlarge my worth. Romans 17 My poet, thou canst touch on all the notes God set between his after and before, and strike up and strike off the general roar of the rushing worlds, a melody that floats in a serene air purely, antidotes of medicated music, answering for mankind's forlornest uses, thou canst pour from thence into their ears. God's will devotes thine to such ends, and mine to wait on thine. How, dearest, wilt thou have me for most use, a hope to sing by gladly, or a fine sad memory with thy songs to interfuse, a shade in which to sing of palm or pine, a grave on which to rest from singing? Choose. Roman 18 I never gave a lock of hair away to a man, dearest, except this to thee, which now upon my fingers thoughtfully I wring out to the full brown length and say, take it. My day of youth went yesterday, my hair no longer bounds to my foot's glee, nor plant I it from rose or myrtle tree as girls do any more. It only may now shade on too pale cheeks the mark of tears, taught drooping from the head that hangs aside through sorrow's trick. I thought the funeral shears would take this first, but love is justified. Take it thou, finding pure from all those years the kiss my mother left here when she died. Roman 19 The soul's rialto hath its merchandise. I barter curl for curl upon that mart, and from my poet's forehead to my heart receive this lock which outweighs argosies, as purply black, as erst to Pindar's eyes the dim purpureal tresses gloomed athwart the 9 white muse brows. For this counterpart, the bay crown's shade, beloved, I surmise, still lingers on thy curl, it is so black. Thus, with a fillet of smooth-kissing breath, I tie the shadows safe from gliding back, and lay the gift where nothing hindereth. Here on my heart as on thy brow, to lack no natural heat, till mine grows cold in death. Roman 20 Beloved, my beloved, when I think that thou wast in the world a year ago, what time I sat alone here in the snow and saw no footprint, heard the silence sink no moment at thy voice, but link by link went counting all my chains as if that so they never could fall off at any blow struck by thy possible hand. Why, thus I drink of life's great cup of wonder. Wonderful, never to feel thee thrill the day or night with personal act or speech, nor ever cull some prescience of thee with the blossoms white thou saw'st growing. Atheists are as dull, who cannot guess God's presence out of sight. Roman 21 Say over again, and yet once over again, that thou dost love me. Though the word repeated should seem a cuckoo song, as thou dost treat it, remember, never to the hill or plain, valley and wood, Without her cuckoo strain comes the fresh spring in all her green completed. Beloved, I amid the darkness greeted by a doubtful spirit voice in that doubt's pain cry, speak once more, thou lovest. Who can fear too many stars, though each in heaven shall roll, too many flowers, though each shall crown the year? Say thou dost love me, love me, love me, toll the silver itrance. Only minding, dear, to love me also in silence with thy soul. Romans 22, when our two souls stand up erect and strong, face to face, silent, drawing nigh and nigher, until the lengthening wings break into fire at either curved point. What bitter wrong can the earth do to us, that we should not long be here contented? Think, in mounting higher, the angels would press on us and aspire to drop some golden orb of perfect song into our deep, dear silence. Let us stay rather on earth, beloved, where the unfit contrarious moods of men recoil away and isolate pure spirits, and permit a place to stand and love in for a day, with darkness and the death hour rounding it. Romans 23, is it indeed so? If I lay here dead, wouldst thou miss any life in losing mine? And would the sun for thee more coldly shine because of grave damps falling round my head? I marvelled, my beloved, when I read thy thought so in the letter. I am thine, but, so much to thee, can I pour thy wine while my hands tremble? Then my soul, instead of dreams of death, resumes life's lower range. Then love me, love, look on me, breathe on me, as brighter ladies do not count it strange, for love, to give up acres and degree. I yield the grave for thy sake, and exchange my near sweet view of heaven for earth with thee. Romans 24, let the world's sharpness like a clasping knife shut in upon itself, and do no harm in this close hand of love, now soft and warm, and let us hear no sound of human strife after the click of the shutting. Life to life, I lean upon thee, dear, without alarm, and feel as safe as guarded by a charm against the stab of worldlings, who if rife are weak to injure. Very whitely still the lilies of our lives may reassure their blossoms from their roots, accessible alone to heavenly dews that drop not fewer, growing straight out of man's reach on the hill. God only, who made us rich, can make us poor. Romans 25, a heavy heart, beloved, have I borne from year to year until I saw thy face, and sorrow after sorrow took the place of all those natural joys as lightly worn as the stringed pearls, each lifted in its turn by a beating heart at Dan's time. Hopes apace were changed to long despairs, till God's own grace could scarcely lift above the world forlorn my heavy heart. Then thou didst bid me bring and let it drop adown thy calmly great deep being. Fast it sinketh, as a thing which its own nature does precipitate, while thine doth close above it, mediating betwixt the stars and the unaccomplished fate. Romans 26, I lived with visions for my company instead of men and women, years ago, and found them gentle mates, nor thought to know a sweeter music than they played to me. But soon their trailing purple was not free of this world's dust, their lutes did silent grow, and I myself grew faint and blind below their vanishing eyes. Then thou didst come to be, beloved, what they seemed, their shining fronts, their songs, their splendours, better, yet the same, as river water hallowed into fonts met in thee, and from out thee overcame my soul with satisfaction of all wants, because God's gifts put man's best dreams to shame. Romans 27, my own beloved, who haste lifted me from this drear flat of earth where I was thrown, and in betwixt the languid ringlets blown a life breath, till the forehead hopefully shines out again as all the angels see before thy saving kiss. My own, who camest to me when the world was gone, and I who looked for only God found thee. I find thee, I am safe and strong and glad, as one who stands in dewless asphodel, looks backward on the tedious time he had in the upper life, So I with bosom swell make witness here between the good and bad, that love as strong as death retrieves as well. Roman 28 my letters, all dead paper, mute and white, and yet they seem alive and quivering against my tremulous hands which loose the string and let them drop down on my knee tonight. This said, he wished to have me in his sight once, as a friend, this fixed a day in spring to come and touch my hand. A simple thing, yet I wept for it. This, the paper's light, said, Dear, I love thee, and I sank and quailed as if God's future thundered on my past. This said, I am thine, and so its ink has paled with lying at my heart that beat too fast. And this, O love, thy words have ill availed if what this said I dared repeat at last. Roman 29 I think of thee. My thoughts do twine and bud about thee as wild vines about a tree, put out broad leaves, and soon there's naught to see except the straggling green which hides the wood. Yet, O my palm tree, be it understood, I will not have my thoughts instead of thee who art dearer, better. Rather, instantly renew thy presence, as a strong tree should, rustle thy boughs and set thy trunk all bare, and let these bands of greenery which ensphere thee drop heavily down, burst, shattered everywhere. Because in this deep joy to see and hear thee and breathe within thy shadow a new air, I do not think of thee, I am too near thee. XXX I see thine image through my tears tonight, and yet today I saw thee smiling. How refer the cause? Beloved, is it thou or I who makes me sad? The acolyte amid the chanted joy and thankful rite may so fall flat, with pale insensate brow on the altar stair. I hear thy voice and vow, perplexed, uncertain, since thou art out of sight, as he in his swooning ears the choir's Amen. Beloved, dost thou love? Or did I see all the glory as I dreamed, and fainted when too vehement light dilated my ideal for my soul's eyes? Will that light come again as now these tears come, falling hot and real? Roman 31 thou commenced, all is said without a word. I sit beneath thy looks as children do in the noon sun, with souls that tremble through their happy eyelids from an unaverred yet prodigal inward joy. Behold, I erred in that last doubt, and yet I cannot rue the sin most but the occasion, that we two should for a moment stand unministered by a mutual presence. Ah, keep near and close, thou dove-like help, and when my fears would rise, with thy broad heart serenely interpose. Brood down with thy divine sufficiencies these thoughts which tremble when bereft of those, like callow birds left desert to the skies. Roman 32 the first time that the sun rose on thine oath to love me, I looked forward to the moon to slacken all those bonds which seemed too soon and quickly tied to make a lasting troth. Quick-loving hearts, I thought, may quickly loathe, and looking on myself, I seemed not one for such man's love. More like an out-of-tune worn viol, a good singer would be wroth to spoil his song with, and which, snatched in haste, is laid down at the first ill-sounding note. I did not wrong myself so, but I placed a wrong on thee. For perfect strains may float 'neath master hands from instruments defaced, and great souls at one stroke may do and dote. Roman 33 yes, call me by my pet name. Let me hear the name I used to run at when a child from innocent play, and leave the cowslips plied, to glance up in some face that proved me dear with the look of its eyes. I miss the clear fond voices which, being drawn and reconciled into the music of heavens undefiled, call me no longer, silence on the bier while I call God, call God. So let thy mouth be heir to those who are now exanimate. Gather the north flowers to complete the south, and catch the early love up in the late. Yes, call me by that name, and I in truth with the same heart will answer and not wait. Roman 34 with the same heart I said, I'll answer thee as those, when thou shalt call me by my name. Lo, the vain promise, is the same, perplexed and ruffled by life's strategy. When called before, I told how hastily I dropped my flowers or break off from a game, to run and answer with the smile that came at play last moment, and went on with me through my obedience. When I answer now, I drop a grave thought, break from solitude, yet still my heart goes to thee. Ponder how, not as to a single good, but all my good, lay thy hand on it, best one, and allow that no child's foot could run fast as this blood. Romans 35. If I leave all for thee, wilt thou exchange and be all to me? Shall I never miss home talk and blessing and the common kiss that comes to each in turn, nor count it strange when I look up, to drop on a new range of walls and floors, another home than this? Nay, wilt thou fill that place by me which is filled by dead eyes too tender to know change that's hardest? If to conquer love has tried, to conquer grief tries more, as all things prove, for grief indeed is love and grief beside. Alas, I have grieved so I am hard to love. Yet love me, wilt thou? Open thy heart wide and fold within the wet wings of thy dove. Romans 36. When we met first and loved, I did not build upon the event with marble. Could it mean to last, a love set pendulous between sorrow and sorrow? Nay, I rather thrilled, distrusting every light that seemed to gild the onward path, and feared to overlean a finger even. And though I have grown serene and strong since then, I think that God has willed a still renewable fear. O love, O troth! Lest these enclasped hands should never hold, this mutual kiss drop down between us both as an unowned thing, once the lips being cold. And love be false, if he, to keep one oath, must lose one joy, by his life star foretold. Romans 37. Pardon, O pardon, that my soul should make of all that strong divineness which I know for thine and thee, an image only so formed of the sand, and fit to shift and break. It is that distant years which did not take thy sovereignty, recoiling with a blow, have forced my swimming brain to undergo their doubt and dread, and blindly to forsake thy purity of likeness, and distort thy worthiest love to a worthless counterfeit, as if a shipwrecked pagan, safe in port, his guardian sea-god to commemorate, should set a sculptured porpoise, gills ace-naught and vibrant tail within the temple gate. Romans 38. First time he kissed me, he but only kissed the fingers of this hand wherewith I write, and ever since it grew more clean and white. Slow to world greetings, quick with its list, when the angels speak. A ring of amethyst I could not wear here, plainer to my sight than that first kiss. The second passed in height the first, and sought the forehead, and half missed, half falling on the hair. O beyond meed! That was the chrism of love, which love's own crown, with sanctifying sweetness, did precede the third upon my lips, was folded down in perfect purple state, since when indeed I have been proud and said, my love my own. Romans 39. Because thou hast the power and own'st the grace to look through and behind this mask of me, against which years have beat thus blanchingly with their reins, and behold my soul's true face, the dim and weary witness of life's race, because thou hast the faith and love to see, through that same soul's distracting lethargy, the patient angel waiting for a place in the new heavens, because nor sin nor woe, nor God's infliction, nor death's neighbourhood, nor all which others viewing turn to go, nor all which makes me tired of all self-viewed, nothing repels thee. Dearest, teach me so to pour out gratitude as thou dost good. XLO, yes, they love through all this world of ours. I will not gainsay love called love forsooth. I have heard love talked in my early youth, and since not so long back but that the flowers then gathered smell still. Musulmans and Jairas throw kerchiefs at a smile, and have no ruth for any weeping. Polypheme's white tooth slips on the nut if after frequent showers the shell is over smooth, and not so much will turn the thing called love aside to hate or else to oblivion. But thou art not such a lover, my beloved. Thou canst wait through sorrow and sickness to bring souls to touch, and think it soon when others cry too late. Roman 41. I thank all who have loved me in their hearts, with thanks and love from mine. Deep thanks to all who paused a little near the prison wall to hear my music in its louder parts ere they went onward, each one to the mart's or temple's occupation, beyond call. But thou, who, in my voices sink and fall when the sob took it, thy divinest art's own instrument, didst drop down at thy foot, to hearken what I said between my tears, instruct me how to thank thee. Oh, to shoot my soul's full meaning into future years, that they should lend it utterance, and salute love that endures from life that disappears. Roman 42. My future will not copy fair my past. I wrote that once, and thinking at my side my ministering life angel justified the word by his appealing look upcast to the white throne of God, I turned at last, and there instead saw thee not unallied to angels in thy soul. Then I, long tried by natural ills, received the comfort fast while budding at thy sight. My pilgrim's staff gave out green leaves with morning dews impearled. I seek no copy now of life's first half. Leave here the pages with long musing curled, and write me new my future's epigraph, new angel mine, unhoped for in the world. Roman 43. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of everyday's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And, if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. Roman 44. Beloved, thou hast brought me many flowers plucked in the garden, all the summer through and winter, and it seemed as if they grew in this close room, nor missed the sun and showers. So, in the like name of that love of ours, take back these thoughts which here unfolded too, and which on warm and cold days I withdrew from my heart's ground. Indeed, those beds and bowers be overgrown with bitter weeds and rue, and wait thy weeding. Yet here's eglantine, here's ivy. Take them, as I used to do thy flowers, and keep them where they shall not pine. Instruct thine eyes to keep their colours true, and tell thy soul their roots are left in mine. Sonnets from the Portuguese, by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Updated editions will replace the previous one. The old editions will be renamed, creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation and you can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing project, and may not be used if you charge for an e-book, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use copies of this e-book. Complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this e-book for nearly any purpose, such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances, and research. Project Gutenberg e-books may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with e-books not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start Full license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work. Distribution of electronic works by using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg. You agree to comply with all the terms of the full www.gutenberg.org/license. Electronic works. Electronic work. You indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1. 8. Used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1. See below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg electronic works if you follow the terms of this electronic works. See paragraph 1. Below. Foundation or PGLAF owns a compilation copyright in the collection. Works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying or creating derivative works based on the work as long as works in compliance with the terms of this agreement, for keeping the comply with the terms of this agreement, by keeping this work in the you share it without charge with others. 1. D. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work, or any representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1. 1. The following sentence with active links to or other performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This e-book is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this e-book, derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder. The work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1, 1 through 1, 7 or trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1, 8 or 1, 9, with the permission of the copyright holder. Your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1, 1 through 1, 7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. License terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this one. 5. Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work or any part of this electronic work without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1, E1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg license. 1E6. You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official www. Gutenberg.org, you must at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy or a means of obtaining a copy upon request of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the 1E7. Do not charge a fee for access to viewing displaying unless you comply with paragraph 1E8 or 1E9. 1E8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or provided that you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from you already used to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing or by email within 30 days of receipt that S/he license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1F3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free. 1E9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing forth in section 3 below. 1F. Effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the project electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored may contain defects, such as but not limited to incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1F2. Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1F3. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract, except those provided in paragraph 1F3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive or incidental damages, even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1F3. Limited right of replacement or refund if you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it. You can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1. F4. Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1. F3. This work is provided to you as is with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1. F. 5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties, or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1. F6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this defect you cause. Electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure archive foundation and how your efforts and donations can help. See sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. 501, c. 3. Educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's EIN or Federal Tax Identification Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 41 Watchung Plaza #516, Montclair NJ 07042 USA, +1 862 621 to 9288. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact Literary Archive Foundation public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment, including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform, and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways, including checks, online payments, and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years he produced and volunteer support editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the U.S. unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep e-books in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org, Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new e-books, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new e-books. Linked image back, linked image back.